What's good, everybody? Oh, it's your man Rico the Opinionist. This here on this beautiful Friday evening. Let me see, it rained. Let me see, I did a morning jog early, like 7 a.m. Showered up and chilled and ran, took care of some business. Then around early afternoon, it started raining cats and dogs for about 30 minutes. Then the sun popped out. And it rained again, and here we are now. Beautiful. The weather's even. It's pleasant. That Texas weather's something else, I'm here to tell you. And I'm right here near the water here. Y'all see that? Y'all know it's one of my favorite spots. I love parks that has some level or size of body of water. I love that. It adds ambiance to the place, But anyway, that's my thoughts to flow to. It's your man Rico the Opinionist. Like, share, and subscribe. And check out the description box, because I got all the cool stuff in there. And that's basically my PDF formatted short story. It's like 50 pages. It's called The Greatest Pain Ever Felt, Conversation with Absent Biological Father Who Never Wanted to Be Found. And it's only $10, $ Rico the Opinionist. Hit me on the Cash App. It's PDF formatted. And should you decide to hit your boy up for that $10 with the $10, please send me an email address so I can send it to you directly as soon as I receive your payment. I want to thank you in advance for your support. And even if you get a chance to read it, please let me know what you think about it. So far, I've been getting pretty good reviews on the few people who bought it. So thank y'all. And I thank you in advance for future persons who may become readers of my little short story. All right. Y'all know the whole conversation is going around on social media. It's gone viral. And it has ignited this huge debate again. But you know what? I'm one of those persons. By the way, let me stop. Dr. Umar Johnson, want to put the heavy load of black men on, I guess, we are to clean up all the bad choices that African-American women have made with their bodies, their vaginas, with their relationship. We all of us as a collective, that's this word, as a collective, needs to come and clean up the black communities. And I did a video on that, so go to my YouTube channel to make some corrections and make some specifics. So, still hearing this conversation, people are thinking this is 1980 or 1990 is actually 2023. And I just want to say this. The title of this live, of this video, is Dear 12 to 13% of African American Men. I think y'all owe the majority of black women an apology. Because for so long we've had this conversation. It wasn't until this last conversation that Dr. Umar had that caused me to really think about it. And shout out to Kevin Samuels for breaking stuff down in statistics and blackdemographics.com, CDC, Pew Research Center, all of the big wigs, Washington Post, everything. You can find these numbers, right? And so it was something that was introduced into the conversation that we had never thought about, because for years, in speaking in the conscious sense, we all just put everything that's happening in the black community on all black men. But that's not true. When he broke it down and find out exactly who black women were having sex with and reproducing kids with, realized, and again, 51% of black men single and childless. About 59% live in middle class and upper middle class lifestyles. And the 30% of the black men who are married, 86% are married to black women. So we're all idealism all day long, but the numbers speak for itself. So I want to say this, it's just like the stepdaddy stuff and stepdaddy season, and a lot of brothers are like backing off from that. These are not those days. And so my critique, my objection, what I take umbrage with, is holding brothers who did not commit dastardly deeds in the hood or the community before they left, being held accountable for what other people have done, other men have done, the men that the women have chosen. And so when the numbers were crunched and broke down to 51% here and 59% there. And then you have, who's left. And I think brothers would name them like the Pookies, the Ray Rays, the Devontaes, the Taekwons and Dequans and all of that. Those are the brothers, the men that the women chose to entangle with, right? So we won't have to go through all of that. So I just want to say to those men, to that 12% of men that majority of African-American women had babies by and who are complaining about, I want to say to you brothers out there who, and I'm going to let you, now I'll make sure I properly identify you. If you're a black man that sold dope in a black neighborhood, if you're a black man that gangbanged in a black neighborhood, if you're a black man that had babies by multiple women, you're a black man that robbed and stole and just wreaked havoc on the black neighborhood, you're the one who owe black women an apology for the conditions that they're in. You're the one who left those children that you had. We didn't. You understand? But when Dr. Umar and others speak, they want to speak collectively, but collectively we didn't behave in such a dastardly way. The rest of us are trying to go to work, go to school, get our ass out their hood and make something of ourselves. And a lot of us did. But still, you want us to feel guilty or feel some type of obligation to come back and be mentors and shit like that. No. You guys, again, I want us to redirect this narrative, correct this conversation, put it in the right direction. That's to the 12% of dudes that the majority of black women had their children with. Rico, how do you know this? How does one man end up with 26 baby mamas and 64 children in state of Tennessee? In Memphis, 20-something kids by about 5 or 6 baby mamas. And let you know that the women were having sex with the same 260,000 men. And so, and hey, I'm still part of the black community, but we know, hey, I want to correct any harm that I did in the black race. And I looked at it like, hey, I never sold no dope. I never pimped or prostituted any women. I never left the child. I never had any kids. And what else I never did that we're complaining about now? I never left anyone unprotected because my mother, my sisters, lay your hands on them, it's going down. And my cousins, hey, it's going down. My female cousins. So what you talking about? The men who you lay down with are the ones you need to try to come back and convince to protect you. And then when you say, well, as leaders of the black community, well, no, we're leaders now, but but we weren't the leaders that the black community wanted. And so brothers went on those, and we're not thinking we're better or anything. We just made other choices. And by the way, a lot of sisters decide to make other choices too. They decide to go off to college. They decide to get a husband in college, or they got a husband. Then they decide to start a family. So I know these are not the women who are complaining about black men. They decide to, hold what they got until they got a husband. They decide to not strip. They decide to not sell no coochie. They decide to not fight in the streets. They decide not to wear lace fronts. They decide to not to get tattoos. They decided not to fight at McDonald's, not the wreck shop and Waffle House. We got a lot of black women who didn't do any of that. So I know it's not every single sister complaining. But those women who made those choices, stop sitting around and letting Dr. Umar and these relationship gurus spread these lies because y'all don't want to admit to your choices. So dear 12% of black men, you owe black women an apology. And we're not, because brothers like me and others, we're not a part of your foolishness. And we have the criminal record to show it or not to show. We have the clean bill of health as it relates to, not having any kids all over the place. And shout out to the black men who do have children, but you decide to have children with your wives. Shout out to those brothers. I know y'all not complaining about them. Not the married brothers who in the household with their children, not the brothers who are in their children's lives. So what black men are you talking about? I know who you're talking about. You're talking about the 12 to 13% that at least 74% of black women mated with, that you chose. And contrary to what Dr. Umar wants to put out there, which is a lie, we're responsible for the Pookies and the Ray Rays? No. Let's keep talking about the information, the stats. If you're going to say that in the last 50 years, black women have raised these children, girls and boys, we're talking about the boys. Well, who you think produced these people that the women are complaining about today? Okay? So anyway, I'm not going to make this video long. I just want to say, do you 12% of black men who 74 to 77% of black women mated with, y'all owe your women an apology. And they right here talking about like all of us, or those of us who don't even fit none of those numbers. We're not part of those statistical categories. We're not. So so Dr. Umar and others, y'all be more specific in who y'all talking about and stop with this collective shit. We're past that. Okay? And I still want to do my part to represent. And any young brother I come across who's open to any mentoring that I want to offer, cool. You know, and I think I've mentored quite a few young men over the years. You know, by leading by example. Yeah, young men who told me, Rico, man, we used my sub when I was in the 10th grade. You used my sub when I was 10. You taught us this. You taught me that, and I never forgot it. And the young brother, the young men that say that, they're doing pretty well in their lives. They didn't have any bastard kids out of wedlock. If they're married, if they're single, they don't have any kids. Or if they got married and got a wife and children. Or say, man, because of you, what you said to me when I was 17, what you said to me when I was 16, I never forgot that. And I built on that. See, these are the messages I get. So when Dr. Umar accuses black men of not mentoring, I guess that knocks out all the fraternity brothers. So they should really be mad, because that's one of the top things that black fraternity dudes always talk about, their mentoring programs. And Dr. Umar said he talking like black men aren't mentoring. You know, and that's why I call it, pandering, because he's tripping. We all don't mentor like Boys and Girls Club. We mentor in our own way. Do I have an organization or organized system of mentoring? No. But whenever I get a chance to get in the space, or young people come in my space, be it through my work as a social worker, I've come across tons of young people over the past 27 years. And majority of them will tell you, man, Mr. Rico telling the truth, man. His class, man, I learned a lot in that man class. And if I'm teaching substance abuse, if I'm doing one-on-one mental health counseling, man, I really learned a lot, man. And that's what I get. That's what they tell me. So, Dr. Umar, you're not going to cheat me out of what I know I've done. And I got evidence to prove it. Walking evidence. People who've done better in their lives. Was everything 100%? No. They hear you, but some people make their own choices. So, the brothers who are still setting the examples for other young men and young women to follow, keep doing that. You don't necessarily have to have an organized mentoring program, because that stuff costs money and it costs time. It takes time that a lot of times people don't have. Now, in the 70s and 80s, when we were little kids, when I was a little kid, we had the coaches, we had the teachers. People just did it. But times have changed. And like Geraldo Rivera in the 90s. Y'all remember Geraldo Rivera's show? He said, time is moving on and I'm not standing still. What that means is you kind of move with the times in a lot of respects. And that's what I did. Now, I understand all the consciousness, the black consciousness, Afrocentric consciousness, African-centered consciousness. I'm aware of all of that. But I also am aware of the reality that African-centered consciousness become more of a philosophy than a reality. It never really took root after the 90s. It just kind of lost its grasp on the people. Hell, do tell me in Memphis or in your major city, do y'all still see the brothers and sisters of the Nation of Islam out on the corners in the black neighborhoods selling papers and selling fruit like they used to in the 90s, early 2000s? I don't see them anymore. I certainly don't see them in South Dallas because times have changed. People they understand that there's a deeper grasp that people, a force field or some kind of fence that we can't seem to climb over, or a force field we can't seem to break through. But those who are ready and willing to change, they'll see me, they'll see you. But going out there trying to, get the gang member off the street, good luck with that. You got to be a rapper, and the rappers ain't trying to move no gang members off the street. You got a lot of times you can talk to them as a preacher, but they'll hear you. So, not all too many. I'm just saying, everybody has the ability to change. They have to have the willingness to want to change. Come on, somebody. Again, you 12 to 13% of brothers that left all that carnage when you around, in the black neighborhood selling the dope, gang banging, having babies by different chicks and leaving and walking off. You are the ones that owe black women protection. You are the ones that owe them an apology, not people like me. Got it? And those who've done what they're supposed to do, not the 51%, not the 59% of us. Got it? Okay. Y'all enjoy the rest of your evening. It's your man, Rico. Rico the Opinionist. Like, share, and subscribe. I'll talk to y'all later. Peace.